All right, so we are heading off to Lake Superior Provincial Park. Tomorrow we're driving up, going to be about 11-hour drive, and then heading into the park on the 23rd. So we're planning to be up there for 5 nights, 6 days. And here is it's a little messy, but here is what we have packed for this backpacking trip in terms of food. It's not packed up yet, but as you can see, but we'll get some segments of when we do that. So we have a couple of canisters here for whether we decide to bring up some special beverages or not. Not 100% sure at this point. Depends how we're doing with our weight. Here we have our water bottles, which we will use our Platypus water filtration system to filter our water as we go along. Okay, so into the goods. I'm a little less creative this time around just with timing this year and getting things set up. So luckily we had a lot of meals from last year, which are still good in terms of the dehydrated meals, so that's great. So I keep our drinks together. Coffees, teas, very important. Yes, we are doing the instant coffee this year, but I'm okay with that. It's just a little simpler. We also have water purification tabs in here, and we have more in our little safety bins as well. So that's that there. For breakfast, we're keeping it pretty simple. This is rolled oats. This is for 5 days worth. Actually, I think I packed 1 day extra so I can remove a little bit. So that's good to know now that I'm thinking about it. Where you just have to add water, let it sit in our, here's our pot, our cooking system. So our pots are in here. The Cozy helps just with keeping the heat in for hydrating. In here we have like nuts, raisins, cinnamon, things like that to flavor the oats a little bit. And then we have lunches. So for our lunches, I've packed them pretty much per day. So we have some of those moon cheeses, which are fabulous, dried chickpeas. We have some power bars in there, jerky as well. So we have that for a few days, and they're all in these scent-proof bags. So this should be enough for the two of us for 1 day. We usually do have extra, so we'll see how we go. We'll see how we go. It's always a learning experience. For days 3, 4, 5, and 6 for lunches, instead of the jerky, we have some pepperoni sticks from D&D Meats, which we picked up from the Outdoor Adventure Show in Toronto this year. So we're super excited to dig into those because they were absolutely delicious, and love supporting local companies and businesses. And then here for dinners, again, keeping it really simple, all pre-dehydrated meals. Again, we really love, I've mentioned this before, we love the Alpine Fare. They're pretty tasty, hydrate really well, and they're very high calories. So this one package, for instance, is supposed to be a serving for 2 people. When we do backpacking trips, because we're walking for 8 to 10 hours a day, we find that this is sufficient for each of us. We're both pretty active, so we're hungry a lot. So there's one for Anthony and one for myself, and we have this for 5 nights. I do like dehydrating our own meals, but we just didn't have time for that this year, or access to our dehydrator. So next year, hopefully we'll have a dehydrator to be able to do that again. This is a bit of a different one. We had bought some of this vegetarian kind of like protein, sort of ground meat type of thing a few years ago. So time to use it, and we're just going to mix it in with some quinoa. So we'll see how that goes. The benefit is, like, look how small that is compared to the other. It's a lot less packaging. It's, I don't have a scale. It would be interesting to weigh them and see. But that's what we have for that. And then just a little bit extra in case we do run out of anything. So I have that one extra dehydrated meal, and an extra breakfast, and some shakes that are in there. I reckon that this will be sufficient for our 5 days. And if not, we may come back a little skinnier. So we'll see. The other items that we have here are lots of bug spray. They just happen to be laid out on the table here. And sunscreen, very important. So this is what we have. This is what it looks like right now. And we'll see what it looks like when we get it packed up. Ciao.